First of all, when you first got there to this place, how would you say that compares and contrasts with Kirklees, where you're working at the moment?
Well, it was the same feeling. Like, we're walking in here first and walking into Kirkley Hall for the first time. It was just overwhelming, the amount of prospects there, if anything else. I mean, I know I don't live here. I'm only here for 3 weeks, but in that 3 weeks, I potentially could do work with a lot of different animals here. Well, what I've just done is have a bit of interaction with the koalas. One of the reptiles they've got here, which is a olive python, and been in the enclosure with I've been in the enclosure with one of the wombats. But my favourite out of the three has to be the python. So,
And does it make any difference to you that, although it's in an enclosure, you're actually handling animals on the continent in which they live? It's not like things have been taken away halfway around the world.
Well, that's one of the things I like about this place. It's only indigenous animals they've got. The keeper I was talking to mentioned they have one of the extinct snakes as well, and they've got something of a breeding program for them to try and up the population again, to save it from extinction, hopefully.
Do you get a sense, having been in Australia for a while now and been to this place, that there's opportunities for you here?
Definitely, yeah. But I know I say I don't want to go home, but I know I need to. Like, I need to go home at the end of this trip and like carry on with the rest of the project. But at the same time, I do want to go back and finish my studies, and hopefully at the end of it I'll have a chance of coming back and working here. It's definitely inspired us to finish college and work. It's given us something to work towards. I mean, I had the idea of working towards like a veterinary position or maybe like a zoologist position, but now it's confirmed it. Definitely the things I've done so far has definitely influenced like what I think my prospects are. Because before there was the prospect of there was the possibility of going in for veterinary care or what have you, but now, even if I don't get into veterinary care, I'd be happy with maybe becoming a specialist on a particular type of animal or working animal conservation. It is a very big surprise not to see as many Aboriginals as I'd thought. I'm not sure if that's because they're shunned out of, well, what could be considered as society, or maybe they like to keep their distance, and somewhat separate themselves from it. It'd be interesting to talk to a group and see what's really going on. These animals are getting everything, are guaranteed to get everything they get in the wild. Like, they're guaranteed to get a meal. They're guaranteed to have treatment for any illness or injury. Yes, they're enclosed, but at this zoo, at least, they're getting a lot of mental stimulation and enrichment. They're, like I say, they're guaranteed food and medication if they need it.
So, once again, you've flown halfway around the world, and you've been having conversations with people in this sanctuary, not as, I don't think anyway, not as a kind of a a volunteer, but you've been telling them things. You've been discussing about how you do things in the UK. Does that make you feel good? Does that make you feel good about yourself that you're kind of holding your own here?
Yeah. It gives us a bit of a confidence boost to be able to tell them what I've had experience doing and how things are done back home. But at the same time, I'm just a student, and they're professional. It's like no matter how much I tell them what I've done, they've got 5, 7, 10 years under the belt more than me, which is where I'd like to be at some point.
So do you think there's a kind of a natural bond between you and animals?
I think so, yeah. Caring for animals does just happen, whereas the only people I could care about is those that I know and I'm close to.